Okay, so number 1. I do have to clean up my numerator and clean up my denominator first before I divide. So when I apply my exponent, it means I'm multiplying because it's a power raised to another power. So x to the power of 6, y to the power of 3 over x squared, y squared. And then when you divide, you would subtract the exponent. So what's the answer for the first one? A. For the second one, you receive 10,000, and then you keep half, and then give it to the rest to Bertha, and then she takes half, takes half, takes half. So which one represents how much Ivana gets? So what's happening each time? You are dividing it by 2, dividing it by 2, dividing it by 2. The fact that it says half makes you think it's one of these. Okay? Dividing by a half is different than dividing by 2. Okay? This one right here, if you try, ladies, right? This one right here, when you keep dividing by 2, when you divide by a half, it's actually like timesing by 2. So you're actually doubling every time. Right? Because when we divide, we multiply the reciprocal. Keep, change, flip. So keep, change, and then flip. That's why it becomes times 2. So it's not this one. Half, you already said divide. So divide by 2 already means the half. So since you're doing it 4 times, it will be this one. Okay. So I know a lot of people got mixed up with A and C. Okay. Number 3, this one, you're given the base area. So the volume formula for a rectangular prism is the base area times height. That's how you get volume. So in this case, I know my volume is 64a cubed b6. I know the base area is 16ab cubed, and I want to times it by h. Right? If I want to solve for h, it means I have to divide these two numbers. We'll explain the full concept of solving algebra after the break. So for this one, if I want to find out what h is, I would divide these two numbers. And then 64 divided by 16 is 4. When I divide, I subtract the exponent. I subtract the exponent. So what's my answer for number 3? Vincent? F. That's right. Okay. Okay. Number 4. Some of you were asking me about this one. It's same base. I'm dividing. So Matthews, what do I do to the exponents? Yeah, subtract. So 400 minus 396, I get 4. So 2 to the 4 minus 2 to the 3. I do not subtract the exponents. When do I subtract exponents? When I'm dividing, right here. I'm subtracting between the two, so none of the exponent rule applies. You're thinking back to basics. 2 to the power of 4 is 16. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. So when you subtract it, you get 8 as your answer. So do not subtract the exponents. Okay, so I think some people got tricked with this one. Okay, number 5. Which of the following fish tank would contain the amount of water represented by this when it's fully full, completely full? So for any of these, remember the formula is length times width times height. So for example, this one, if I were to multiply it, it will be 4x times 2y times 3y. And when I multiply 4 times 2 times 3, I get 24. And then y times y, you add the exponent, so y squared. Is that the same thing? No. The square is on the x here, the square is on the y here. So this is not it. Okay, what about this one? V equals length times width times height. So 6x times y times 4x. Right? 6 times 4, 24. X times x, you get x squared because 1 plus 1, the exponent, and then the y. Okay, that's exactly what we're looking for. So my answer here, B. Okay. Number 6, I'm dividing, so I subtract the exponent. Okay, straightforward. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So what's my answer here? J. Yes. So not H as the answers in the back says. Okay, so there is a mistake in the answers. This one is supposed to be J. Okay. Number 7, I said to skip it. This we will learn after the break. Just in case you want to know what we're learning after the break, we are doing something like this. So multiply, we get 6x squared plus 9x, and then the minus the 5x. So then we group the like terms together, and we get this as our answer. So if you are ahead of the game and you got D, good job. That's the answer. Okay. If you have no clue what we just did right here, that's okay. Leave it for after the break. Oh, also, since all my notes are on Brightspace, if you want over the March break, if you want to look ahead, get a head start, by all means, you can see what we're gonna do after the break and start on some homework. Start studying on that if you want. Only if you want. I'm not gonna assign any of that for March break. Okay. So this is not going to be on the quiz tomorrow, but we'll put it on the but we'll put it but it will be on the next test after the break. All right. This one right here. All right, similar questions with the cube. So I guess EQAL really love to ask rectangular prism questions. Volume of rectangular prism. So volume equals length times width times height. So I know my length right. I don't know what length is. And then I'm timesing it by my width, which is 2x. I'm timesing it by the height, which is 2y. So I have something times 4xy. Right? The answer I want to get is this right here, 12x squared, y squared. Okay, so what do I have to multiply to get this answer? So what would this be? So 4 times what gives you 12? 3. Isabel. Okay. What do I need to times the xy to get x squared y squared? Okay, so right here, I want to figure out what this question mark is. Yeah. So what would my answer be? What would my question mark be? Number 8. Oh, okay. So. Okay, Isaac, can you help her out? Yeah. Okay, so if 3xy times 4xy would give you the 12x squared y squared. Another method you could do is just do 12x squared y squared divided by 4xy, and you'll get the same answer. Okay, so both way works. Just to show you, when you multiply, you add the exponents, and when you divide it, you subtract the exponents, and you get the same answer. Okay, number 9, I said to skip because again, this is after the break. Feel free to try it if you want. Number 10, based on what we've learned so far, you can just use trial and error in this one, for this one. So you want to sub in a value for t. Okay, whenever let's say, Layan, give me a number, any number. 6, okay. So let's say I'm going to try t equals 6. So volume equals 20 minus 5 times, so like this. What's wrong with what I put right here? I replaced the t with a 6. Yeah, it's 56. That's not what I want. 5t does not mean like 56. If it's 10, it doesn't mean it's 510. What does it mean? 5t? 5 times t. So either put a bracket or put a times sign. So whenever you substitute, make sure you put in brackets. That's very important when we go into the next section as well. Right? So 20 minus 5 times 6 is 30. 30 divided by 3, 10. So 20 minus 10, you get 10. All right, is that the answer we want? Nope. We want 0. We want it to be empty. So if t is not 6, but we're halfway through, what do you think t would be then? The other way. 12. Yeah. So let's try t equals 12. Sub in 12 for t. So 3 equals 20 minus 5 times 12 divided by 3. So 20 minus 5 times 12 is 60. 60 divided by 3, 20. And I get 0, which means the water reservoir is empty. So my answer, t equals 12. All right. What's my unit here, by the way? Yep. Minutes. All right. So make sure, put in units. What happens if you don't put units on the quiz? Half a mark up. That's right. Okay, last one. Okay. Evaluate the following expression. So I have some numbers with the same base. Okay. What do I solve first? I see the 2's. I can probably do something with the 2's, but what do I do first? Isabel? Right, Mary? Multiply the exponent. So I can do this first. Okay, exponent raised to another exponent. So this will give me 2 to the power of 540 times 2 to the 600 times 3 to the square over 2 to the, again, exponent raised to another exponent. So I can multiply that. 567 times 2, 1,134. Okay. I'm showing all the steps because I am dealing with big numbers, so I do encourage you guys to write down everything, so that you don't make silly mistakes. Okay, what's my next step? Okay, why not add the 2 as well? Because it's a different base. Okay, so I can only add these two. So 600 plus 540, I get 2 to the 1140 times 3 squared all over 2 to the 1134. Okay, next step. Somebody on this side of the room. What's my next step? I have a base of 2, I have a base of 3, I have a base of 2. Yeah. Good. Yeah, these two I can combine because they are both base 2. So 2 to the power of 1140, take away 1134, you get 6. Right? I wanted to show on the calculator, but okay. So, and then notice because I combined these two, that's why I don't have a denominator anymore. It's just that. All right. So no more denominator because I combined them. All right. Can I add these two now and say it's 6 to the power of 8? No, different base cannot do anything. So either if it says to simplify to if it says simplify, okay, this is my answer. What if it says evaluate? Then you would do 2 to the power of 6, 64. 3 squared, 9. So 64 times 9, 576. Okay, so if it says simplify, this is your answer. You cannot reduce anymore. You cannot simplify anymore. Even though you're so tempted to do more, you cannot. If it says evaluate, then you would get a final number answer. Okay, so the rest of this package, okay, you should be able to do. And remember, answers are on the last page. On the PDF, don't forget the second PDF are these ones right here. Okay, so let's just do one really quickly. Let's do, so let's say Matthews, choose a number between 1 to 15. 7. Okay, so this one. Okay, what do I change? Which base do I change? 5b? 4. What can I rewrite for us? 2 squared. Good. Divided by 2 to the power of 10. So then now exponent raised to another exponent. That means 2 to the 28 because I multiply. And then when I divide, I subtract the exponent. So I get 2 to the power of 18. And that's my final answer. Remember with these, divide, I can write it with a division sign, or I can write it as a fraction. Both ways, you know that you're subtracting the exponent. All right, so lots of practice for you guys to do tonight. You can do all those. And your quiz is tomorrow. Make sure you bring your charged Chromebook. You used it today in class. Make sure it's charged for tomorrow.